What up, YouTube? So today is going to be part 3 of the K24 Toyota MR2 Spyder build, and today we're going to be prepping our K24, getting our transmission together, and putting our flywheel on, our clutch, and taking off all the parts we don't need off of the K24. So let's go ahead and start over with that. This is a JDM K24 TSX motor, and I got it from Redline Motorsports, or JDM California. And what we're going to be doing is taking off this manifold, because we're going to have to get to the water pump housing and everything. It just makes it a lot easier because we're going to take all this off. Some people were asking, can you use this alternator and water pump housing? I guess it is possible. If you maybe, I guess, ran this actual water or power steering pump, and I guess you figured out the length of the tensioner and everything. So I guess, I mean, it is possible, but for me, the way I'm doing it, I'm not gonna have power steering, so I'd rather have it deleted. So I guess this will just be the way for you guys to do it. The simplest way of finding parts would be getting the RSX and or EP3 water pump housing with alternator, and then running the EP3 pulley or EP3 pulley kit from K-Tuned or any other company. But anyway, so that's what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to be running EP3 idler pulley. I'm going to be running alternator from RSX Type S and the water pump housing from RSX Type S. And then we're going to be using an 04 to 08 CRV post mount. This mount won't work for the mount kit that I have from Innovative Mount. Realistically, on any K24 swap, you have to replace this mount anyway, so we'll be doing that on this one. And then I will be deleting, since I do have Honda, this sensor, so I don't have to install that. We'll also be installing our flywheel, our 6-speed transmission, RSX Type S 02 to 04. And then everything, all these little hoses and everything. I'm actually going to delete this. I'll show you guys that. I'm going to be deleting the hose, since the Spyder only has one hose that it can take in the back. So to make it look cleaner, I'll be deleting that. I'll be taking all this stuff off right here, since I won't be using it. All these sensor plugs, everything that's just extra. So we're going to go ahead and start with that right now. Just deleting everything we don't need for the actual K24 swap. So I can start prepping and getting everything cleaned up. So we'll go ahead and knock that out, and then we'll come back. All right, so we are back now, and we can go over what we got taken off. So we got our mount taken off. Those were all 314s. We got our water pump housing taken off. Those were all 14s as well, 4 of them. And then the alternator had a 14 at the bottom, and then a 12 at the top. And then this pump, it took 4 12s to take that off. And then this pulley, tensioner pulley, was 3 12s. And then we went ahead and took off the front half of the manifold. Those were all 5 12s. And basically got our pipe taken off and deleted, so that pipe's gonna be gone. We also have to get to we have to take this off, the 410s, to get to the rest of the wiring harness that was all cut. So we got all that deleted. And then I went ahead and took off the automatic plate, so we can get ready to throw on our flywheel for 6-speed RSX Type S. And then we took off that bracket, since in the accident it was kind of messed up, so we got that off. And we got to clean this up a little bit, and we're gonna have to also cut this weight off completely right here, so when we put it in the Spyder, everything will be clear. So right now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna get this flywheel on here. Make sure you use manual bolts for your flywheel. So you can use B series or single cam. D series, those work as well, long as they're long enough for the flywheel. And then we're gonna be, I have to go take off the RSX water pump housing, and I also have to take this off. It's best to do it right now because it's a little bit harder with the pump housing on here. So let me get some pliers and get these off real fast, and then I'll bring over the water pump housing, the alternator, and the tensioner pulley, and then we'll bring over the mount, and I'll show you guys the code for that so you guys can look that up if you need it. And that's for all K24 swaps into Civics or anything. You most likely will need that bracket. And then also, since we don't need this, these are 214s, we'll go ahead and take those off as well. And then we'll get the clutch on here as well and get the transmission all cleaned up and prepped for the weight to be cut off. So we're gonna go ahead and start knocking that out right now, and then we'll come back. All right, so we are back with our engine bay now, and I started spraying some awesome on here so we can start spraying this engine bay down. Other than what we did yesterday, we gotta just take out these mounts now, and we gotta start prepping some of these hoses. So these hoses right here, besides the one that's going to the brake booster, we're gonna be cutting the other two down. And then we're gonna be taking our fuel line, cutting that down, and putting a braided line on there. And other than that, taking out those bolts right there. Those are 14s, I believe. And then we got 14s over here, 3 of them. And then I believe we have 4 14s on this mount. So I'm gonna take all those brackets off and clean up this engine bay a little bit more, and then we'll get back to our engine real quick. All right, so let's kind of go over what we did so far. So I got my clutch and flywheel on. Make sure you use blue Loctite on the clutch bolts, and on the flywheel bolts use red. That's just recommended by me. We got our transmission on and all cleaned up, a little bit better looking than it was before. And we also got our water pump housing from our RSX installed. And then we got our alternator right here. But before I install that, I want to clean up this motor a little bit more. And then we got our bracket that we're going to be using. So that's the part number for anybody who is looking. And then we also have our engine harness that we're going to be installing as well. So right now we're going to go ahead and install that. Also, we have our pulley. This is the idler pulley that we're going to be installing as well. With the alternator, and then we'll finish off installing with our belt, which is just a 52-inch belt. You can get a 6 rib or 7 rib. 7 rib is a little bit harder. 6 rib if it's, you know, just trying to get it running today. So also, don't forget to change out your crank sensor. You can also repin it as well, and depending on your wiring skills. And yeah, so we're gonna do that real fast. Gonna clean up the motor a little bit, install the alternator, install the pulley and bracket and engine harness. So we're also gonna have to take this back off to install the engine harness as well. So we're gonna go ahead and knock that out, and then we're gonna have Johnny go ahead and start cutting off this bracket right here. So when we put the innovative or map actually kit for the shift linkage, it'll all be ready. So go ahead and knock that out real fast, and then we'll come back. We gotta take this off too. So I'm gonna take off the intake manifold real fast so we can get to the knock sensor and starter, so we can run the charge harness in there. And then we got to put the thermostat housing back on with some silicone. So we're gonna knock all that out, and then we'll come back. All right, so we are back, and we can go over what we've done now. So we obviously got our engine harness plugged in, all the clips all ready to go, and everything over here on the back side. The only thing I have to do is since this is an 0506 harness, I'm gonna have to get the older plug and repin that to get that in there. Everything else is pretty much ready. I will be swapping out the drive-by throttle body. I just gotta go pick up another throttle body with the cable. And then let's see, let's go over here and start with what we did. So we got our idler pulley. These come from Civic 02 to 11 EP3 or FG2 FA5 model, and they bolt on stock, but you do have to have the EP3 housing or RSX housing. So this is the RSX Type S alternator. This is the water pump housing and the auto tensioner from RSX Type S. This is a CRV 02 to 07, I believe, bracket. And you need this because the other ones just won't work. And then I also, since I deleted that heater hose, that's the little block off kit. It's only 20 bucks, and it's perfect for the mr2 spyder. Other than that, this is the Matt's Auto Performance shifter bracket that lets you use the stock mr2 shifter. So instead of the shifter going on to here, it's actually going to go to right here. So that's the back and forth, and then the other one will just hook up to here, and then that'll be for the side. Pretty simple. I like it better than the innovative. The innovative one, you actually had to like trim down just to get this bracket on there, so I'm guessing they fixed that as far as that. So Matt Auto Performance is where I got that from, and the other parts that I'll be showing you for part 4, I'll let you guys see what else I got for them as well. So other than that, I'll kind of go over the setup. So this transmission is from a 2002 to 2004 Acura RSX Type S, and this is the engine code for, or the casing code for it. The engine is a JDM TSX, so basically like an 03 to 04 engine. Stock flywheel from Type S, stock Exetti clutch, intake manifold stock as well. Other than that, motor's basically prepped and ready to go in for tomorrow. So the spyder is basically almost prepped as well. We took out the mounts already and cleaned it up a little bit. Probably got to clean it up a little bit more tomorrow to kind of get all the soap marks out of here. But other than that, we just kind of have to eliminate these lines, cut them down a little bit. We're gonna put a braided line on that and have that ready for when the motor drops in. We'll just have fuel already, and then we're gonna have to recut our bottom hose to fit and reuse. We got to ground the motor still and a couple other things, but a lot of work has been done and a lot of progress got done today, so at least the motor's ready to drop in. If you haven't, like, share, subscribe, comment, let me know what you guys think, and make sure you hit the notification if you want to see the upload of this video or any videos that I do as soon as I upload them. And stay tuned, guys. Our next video we'll be dropping this motor in and maybe hopefully getting it started. So stay tuned, and I'll see you guys next time.